Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kay, on the injured reserve. For y'all who know, y'all know your girl is recovering from her ACL reconstruction. Greetings from the room. I decided to put some earrings on today since I don't get to wear them no more since I've been in the house. But yeah, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. Before I get started, y'all, if y'all like my bangles and my bracelets, check out my store. I have a little Etsy store situation going on. You know your girl got a hobby. I'm going to put the link in my bio. Not in my bio. See, you know I be selling bracelets. I'm gonna put the link to my Etsy store in the description box. And if you are interested in beaded bracelets, let me show you something. I just made these really cute, like Skittle, M&M, Jelly Bean, Gummy Bear inspired bracelets. And by inspired, I mean the colors. You know how you get an assortment of colors when you get candy? So these bracelets were inspired by candy. But I have a whole lot of other little things that, you know, I sell. I got little pink cute sets. And, you know, I got these beaded type bracelets. So if you're interested, please click the link in my description box and, girl, get you a little cute set. Help a girl out. Support my little black small business. But yeah, y'all, I'm back today to give y'all a review of Grownish. The last 2 episodes, I can't tell you what the last 2 episode numbers are, but I'm behind on my Grownish reviews. I was behind on my All-American review too last week and this week. So if you watch All-American and you like to watch reviews, check out my All-American reviews too. My last 2 reviews, episodes 2 and 3 for season 6. But this is my season 6 review. Of course, as y'all know, this is Grownish's final season. So I know I've been a little critical of Grownish the last couple episodes or whatever, and it's only because Grownish was like one of my comfort shows, and like, you know, I really had grown attached to the characters. So if I have said anything, you know, in my previous reviews that seemed a little overcritical, it was because, you know, like sometimes when you like something, you just don't want to see it go down. You want to see like this consistency stay consistent. You know what I mean? But these last 2 episodes, they have given me more of what Grownish used to give back then. They give it now. And I miss that. In the first episode, not in the first episode, but in last week's episode, because you know this week's episode already came out, so I'm reviewing this week's episode and last week's episode. Last week we saw Doug. You know, Doug is now an entrepreneur. Is giving very much Ron Johnson at the club from Different World. All my Different World girls, y'all know in Different World when Ron was trying to get his band popping at the little club, Doug is doing something similar on Grownish where he has what they call the dugout. And this is like a spinoff of Bar None. So he has like this elegant, you know, little hole in the wall where he likes to serve like tapas and little drinks and stuff. He just wants to give an atmosphere where the young people can go and have a vibe. So Doug was supposed to be having this critic come and you know, so he can get his business off the ground, because you know, if a critic come and give you a good review, that'll help bring you more business. So Doug was doing that, and so he asked Kiela, which this was the first interaction that I saw or that I remember Doug and Kiela having since they used to have their entanglements. You know, Doug and Kiela used to be a thing, you know, when he was trying to get over Jazz. So, you know, you got Doug and Kiela and Junior and Aaron. And as you know, it's been a few episodes since Junior and Aaron have talked. Last we know, Junior was staying with Aaron at his apartment, you know, when Aaron was dating Zoe. But Junior kind of moved out and has been bumming it at the Gamma house because he hadn't had nowhere to stay. And as you know, like, he used to live with Zara, but now Zara and the girls got their own apartment. And so the girls, none of the girls are in this episode except Kiela. Kiela was helping Doug, like I said, to, you know, make sure everything was perfect for this night. So Doug's main thing was he wanted Junior and Aaron to set aside their differences to help make sure his night was successful, because he was dependent on them. As you know, Junior is Doug's frat brother, and like, Aaron and Doug are like bros, like they're like besties. And so as the night is going on, it's all kind of stuff going on. You know, Aaron is trying to get over Edie, or whatever her name is, Edith. You know, she ain't really been paying Aaron that attention like that, because Aaron is still trying to get over Zoe, but Aaron is a relationship guy, and she ain't really trying to do that right now. She's trying to have fun. And then you got Junior, who's trying to get somebody to invest in his business. And so he was looking to one of his bros, to help invest in his business, because he was trying to figure out who got money. Junior was taking on all these clients, and he's spending all this money whining and dining these potential clients that he don't have. So he even tried to call he tried to call Jack for some money, but of course, you know, Jack ain't giving him no coins. So he was trying to, you know, basically network at this event to try to get the money to back, you know, to get his business. So come to find out, Doug and Aaron are going back, not Doug and Aaron. Aaron and Junior are going back and forth all night, until the point where they're fighting, and like Doug sends them upstairs to talk. And so when Doug sends them upstairs to talk, they argue or whatever, and so then they say they gotta come together for a common cause. They end up being cool in the end. And you know, Junior ends up moving back in with Aaron because he don't have nowhere to go. But it was just the whole like flow of the episode. It really gave me, you know, old Grownish. You know, when they actually used to be friends and they actually used to do things. So they actually used to do things in their episodes. Like, they used to have fun together. They used to go on kind of like adventures, and Grownish won't like really give them that no more. And so I was happy to see them like try to hammer it and do this, even though, you know, it wasn't like the most exciting thing for me. It still gave me that nostalgia vibe that I was looking for, you know, because we haven't gotten that in a while. Now, one thing that I did notice in this episode that was, you know, I've been peeping for a while in these Grownish episodes. When Junior first got to CalU, his first night, he had an entanglement with Kiela, and then she put him on the list, if y'all remember that. And so I feel like Kiela has had this unspoken admiration for Junior, but she never said anything because Junior and Annika were so up each other's tails that she just never really vocalized it. But I don't even know if Annika know that they had that entanglement. She might not even know. But Junior and Kiela have been giving each other these eyes for the last couple episodes. And Junior has even been giving her the eyes while they weren't looking, while she wasn't looking. And so I'm just like, is this season going to end with Junior and Kiela getting together? Or is this just something, you know, like they are just doing? Because, you know, Grownish has... This is going to segue into the next episode's review. Grownish has a way of putting people together, and then they be together for a little while, and then they break up, and then they yearn after each other, but they never get back together. It is now happened. It just happened that way last night with Zoe and Aaron. It happened that way with Doug and Jazz. It happened that way with Luca and Zoe. It happened that way with It happened that way with Kiela now, and with Kiela and Junior. And I feel like it happened like that again with somebody else, but I just don't recall who it is right now. But to segue into the next episode, so the next episode was kind of like our reunion episode, and I was told last night that was the 100th episode. So congratulations to Grownish for reaching 100 episodes. That's good. You know, that's a very celebratory moment for a Black sitcom, especially for it to be like a black young adult sitcom, because typically, the age group that Grownish deals with, there's not too many programs on TV that deals with that age demographic. And so I've been watching Grownish for the last 6 years, 5-6 years, because at the time, I was transitioning out of college into my young adult life, just like Zoe and Aaron and Doug are doing now that they've graduated from college. And so it's just, interesting to see like where Grownish has taken the original gang and how they navigate their stories, which I would have wanted more. I felt like seeing their stories on TV more would have been a great way to transition them out, because I just feel like they just left and we don't know anything else. They graduated and we don't know anything else. But last night you had Anna come back, and so Anna was there to support Zoe during her big moment. Zoe was supposed to be doing this showcase for Anti-Muse, but come to find out, in typical fashion, there's always a mishap anytime Zoe is doing something. So Zoe booked this room at this hotel, but the room got double booked, or the space got double booked. And so now there was a 13-year-old's bar mitzvah or bar mitzvah, I forget which one it is, going on. And so she can't use the space anymore. So now she has converted the parking garage at the hotel into a runway. She even had Winnie Harlow modeling in the show. And then she had all these pieces, because she's trying to get these investors to invest in Anti-Muse, because, there was a little bit of a fall off with Anti-Muse. And so she's trying to build back up and get her name back out there as a designer. And so she had these important people come to the show. And so with Junior, this was the kind of part that I was missing from Grownish, that brother and sister interaction. I thought that was something that we the audience would see more of, because I knew that they would eventually fade Zoe out, but I was wanting, like that brother-sister bond between Zoe, kind of like how we used to get on Blackish, but like the more adult version on Grownish. And so Junior took it upon himself, because of course he's trying to start his management business. So he was using Zoe's event to kind of like network and help her bring visibility to her event, which is what a manager does. And so Zoe kept having mishap after mishap, and she was freaking out. And so, throughout the night, Junior even called Annika to come and help them, because Junior and Annika won't speak in either, because things were kind of awkward since they broke up. But with Annika being an influencer, she had the reach to have her influencer friends come and sit on the show just so they could, Instagram and TikTok it, put it on social media so people can see what exactly was going on. The same thing with Zara. Zara has become a model, which I didn't know this, but the girl who plays Zara in real life, she is an actual model. And that girl is gorgeous. Gorgeous. But like, I didn't look at her in that way, because on Grownish, they kind of, I don't know how to explain it. But when I look at her on her Instagram, I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's a supermodel. Like, I would have never known had I not looked her up a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so she models. She ended up modeling in the fashion show. She looked great. Who else? Oh, like I said, Anna helped her, get some things together just with the arrangements. And of course, with this happening, Zoe and Aaron are trying to manage their awkwardness going on, because they just broke up. So I'm just like, everybody is navigating all these different, they're overcoming all these awkwardnesses just so they can make this night go smoothly. So I thought that, I just knew that there was going to be a backseat moment. And by backseat, I mean like Zoe and Aaron was going to slip up and, get back together temporarily for the moment, because they were in each other's sights. But surprisingly, that didn't happen. And so one thing that I did like, or that I saw that they were trying to incorporate in the episode, was that inward conversation that you have with yourself when you're like going through your young adult years, like when you're transitioning from college age into your young adult years and trying to gain your wings and fly on your own. There's like this inward conversation you have with yourself. Like, I know I had it when in my mid 20s, transitioning into my later 20s, of like the person who I was when I first got to college, the person who I was during college. And then, recognizing that that person needs to stay in the past and that we need to grow up and that we need to move forward. And so there was kind of like this inward battle that Zoe, was going through with herself, in terms of like, she said she did the work that she needed to do to grow and mature. And of course, healing from a heartbreak with Aaron. We saw Aaron give her these flowers. And so I was just like, oh my God, like, he misses her, because a couple episodes ago, like, if y'all remember, like, he had this like little picture, I forget what they call, but you go to a little photo booth, and he had him on the side of his refrigerator, and he kind of like took him off when he started dating Edie, and then he put him in the drawer. So I'm just like, okay, so maybe Zoe gonna come back up in the future, and they're gonna be together, especially since all these years we had got this back and forth between Zoe and Aaron, right? So now you see like Zoe be grown about, Edie being around, because Edie actually ended up coming to the event because Zoe wanted to incorporate, like, for one of her social justice pieces, she wanted to use like that orange jumpsuit that she made for Aaron's class that year when they were trying to divest from private prisons. And so Edie was at his house, and she ended up bringing it to the event. And so Zoe and Anna kept talking about how beautiful Edie was, because, they were just so interested to see like what woman was now in Aaron's life. And so Zoe just came to terms with, he's with somebody else now. It's time for me to move on. And when he came to her door, I just knew then, like, okay, Zarin is about to get back together. But she ended up telling herself, like, it's time to move on. And so Anna ended up coming in the room and was like, I know tonight was hard. And I was just like, oh my God, like, they really about to do this. Unless they pulling our strings, y'all. They pulling our strings, and Zoe and Aaron end up getting back together before the season is over with. But for right now, she was like, I'm done. I'm moving on. She was like, we tried it. It didn't work. And I just have to be okay with that. I was like, okay, Zoe just growed up just a smidget. Because I know, like, I used to read tweets. And I know that y'all used to be so frustrated with Zoe, and y'all used to call her a narcissist and all kinds of stuff because y'all felt like she was just so self-centered. And she admitted that she was, but now she's trying to grow up and evolve. And so you can't be mad at that when somebody's trying to grow up and evolve. So I just like that they incorporated that, like, that inward look of like self-introspection, like, because it was needed. It was needed. And I kind of miss Zoe. For the last 2 seasons, we haven't seen much of Zoe. So we went from Zoe being there all the time. We went there from Zoe being there all the time to barely getting Zoe at all. And that was a rough transition for me, especially, like I said, as somebody who really liked the show. Like, I really liked the show. Of course, like, the runway and everything ended up being successful. And one of the investors that Zoe had there, somebody who's trying to get her business off the ground, help her get her business off the ground, she was like, I would definitely be in touch with you, So everything was good. She was very thankful to Junior for, helping, because he bought the model, he bought the influencers, he bought the eyes to the show. The only thing that I would have liked to see yesterday because I thought it was just going to be more people coming back this episode. I thought it was going to be more people coming back from the older cast in this episode besides just Anna. But one person that I would have loved to see at the Anti-Muse fashion show was Luca. Like, that could have been the ultimate shaking of the table had they invited Luca. Like, because especially if that whole thing didn't pan out with Aaron, and then Luca was there to like compliment her on like a successful show where Anti-Muse has gone. Like, oh my God. That would have really shaken up the audience for real. Because then all of Team Zuka would have been up in arms. Especially me. But not that I want Zoe back with Luca, but I just feel like, especially since Anti-Muse was Luca's company, and then he kind of like gave it over to Zoe for her to add her genius to, I feel like it would have only been right. It would have only been right. I just felt like it was needed. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love Luca. I know a lot of people was not here for Luca, but your girl, I was here for Luca. Especially since at the end of season 4, Luca withheld his feelings from Zoe. So I felt like that could have been the perfect segue for him to be like, you know, I love you. Well, not starting off with I love you, but you know, like, oh my God, this show is excellent. You really did your thing. The pieces, your mind, the way you incorporated this, that. It was dope. The models was dope. The street, like, you know, Luca was into like the artsy thing and it being in a garage. Like, that would have just blew him away. And then he would have came to her room and they would have talked and they would have chilled and they just would have looked at each other in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? And then he would have been like, I've been meaning to tell you something. I meant to tell you this 2 years ago, but when we were sitting on that step outside the residence hall, I meant to tell you that I loved you. I love your mind. I miss us doing business together. I miss us being involved in fashion together. Oh my God, I would have screamed. I would have screamed, y'all, for real. I really would have screamed. Like, that would have been so lit. But, you know, that's just not the way the cookie crumbled this time. But yeah, I just feel like, especially like with Kiela being there, Kiela was there, and you know, like her being Luca's sister, it just all would have it would have panned out. Okay, so then one last thing about this episode. So after the event was a success, Junior, Annika, and Kiela ended up going out for like drinks or whatever. Just to like have fun, because you know it was a busy day or whatever like that. And so like they were dancing, of course. They're getting a little faded. And you know, Junior and Kiela been looking at each other for a while, and then you know, like Junior and Annika kind of have unresolved feelings. And so the unresolved feelings from Junior and Annika, and then the budding feelings coming from Kiela and Junior, and then they both had his arms and they was walking out the establishment. I'm like, Grownish, what are y'all insinuating? And is this what y'all possibly are insinuating? Is this old enough for this demographic? Because at the tender age of 32, watching that, I'm just like, there might be a 16-year-old watching this. It was giving very much throuple. Like, is we finna see a throuple? Because that's the vibe that it was giving. Are they finna be a throuple? Y'all know the world is getting progressive now. The world is getting progressive. So I'm just like, I don't know. I was really hoping to see. We already done tried Junior and Annika. I was here for possibly opening the door to Junior and Kiela. But Junior, Kiela, and Annika, that's a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot. Not a love triangle, but a throuple. Oh my God. But yeah, y'all. Let me know what y'all think of them last 2 episodes. How y'all feel the second part of 6B is going so far. Leave me a comment down below and I'll be back with more videos. Don't forget to check out my bracelets. The link will be in the description box. Deuces.